Hello, my lovely listeners. I just wanted to pop on and talk to you a little bit today about empty nest syndrome. And I have touched on it before, and it affects quite a lot of us, and it affects us in ways that we wouldn't really think that it would. So I've gone through this myself. When my daughter left to go to university, I was devastated. I can't tell you how devastated I was. I cried every night in the shower, because I didn't want people to see that I was really upset about it, but I was devastated. And she used to come back every weekend because she worked, had a job. But when she left again, I felt that the things all over again. So, and then she went living down in Kent with a boyfriend. And again, I was devastated when that happened too, because it wasn't so much the feeling of emptiness, it was the feeling of I've lost her, So it's something that I've experienced, and I felt really upset by it. So I want to delve into the topic that touches the hearts of many parents, and obviously that's the empty nest. So when our children leave home, it's a significant milestone, not just for them, but for us as well. It's a time of change, mixed emotions, and sometimes an identity shift, because you suddenly find that although you're still a mum, you're no longer in the mum role as such. So you start thinking, what do I do in my life now? Because all my life for the last however many years has been, you know, involved in children and wrapped around the children and that sort of thing. So, it can be a massive identity shift. So if you're experiencing this or it's just on the horizon, this episode is for you. We'll be exploring the 3 stages of the empty nest: grief and loss, adjustment and exploration, and finally, renewal and independence. So if you're ready, let's get started. So the first stage, as I said, is grief and loss. And this stage often hits the hardest because it's right after your child's left home. So, you've spent so many years dedicated to raising them, taking care of the needs, being the constant presence in their life. And then all of a sudden, they're gone. The house is quieter, your routines have changed, and you're left with a profound sense of, well, what do I do now? What is my life beyond being a mum? Where do I go from that? Now, let me start by saying that it's completely normal to feel a sense of grief during this time. You might find yourself mourning at the end of this chapter, the daily school runs, the family dinners, even the noise and the mess. Because they've now gone, you suddenly have a sense of something's missing here. And you might find that there's moments where you walk past their empty room and it just hits you like a massive wave of emotions. And that's okay too. It's a sign of the deep love and care you invested in your role as a parent. Now, quite often for me, when I walk past my daughter's bedroom, in fact, this is her room, I would get really upset. So I started just shutting the door so I couldn't see the room. And then slowly but surely I started to go in there and sit on the bed and have a look round. And then we decided to decorate it. So me and my husband painted it and put the new carpets down and all that kind of stuff. She had laminate flooring, see, so we did that and changed it a little bit. And although I still refer to it as her room, I know that that's no longer the case. And when she does come home to visit, obviously she sleeps in her room. So, but it can be quite a difficult thing to navigate when you're going through it at that time. And I don't think people quite understand it when they've not got children of their own. And I think people find it hard to to understand, because people say, you know, oh, you can do whatever you want now, you've got your freedom, you don't have to be doing this, this and this. But it's really difficult when your whole life has been centered round that child. It's at this stage too that some parents experience feelings of guilt. You might think, I should be happy for them, and you probably are. But also, it's possible to feel sad for yourself. Remember that these feelings can coexist, so you can have both. So grief and loss during this stage are a testament to the bond you shared with your children and the life you built around them. You know, so don't be angry with yourself for feeling guilty. You know, because quite often we do that and we shouldn't, because, you know, we need to feel all these emotions to be able to get us past this bit of our life. Then in comes the second stage, and this is adjustment and exploration. So after the initial wave of sadness, and that begins to sort of fade and subside, we then start to settle into a new chapter of our life. And this is where shifts start to happen, because you begin to realize that this transition isn't just about loss, it's also about opportunities, and the opportunities that you can now take because you've not got that extra duties of doing everything for your children and being there for your children and that sort of thing. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, you know, we have grandchildren. You know, and again, for me, I have my grandchildren quite often from my eldest daughter. And, you know, things can be difficult trying to transition with that as well. But it's slightly different with your grandchildren because they're not technically your children. So it's a bit different to navigate that. What I want you to do is think of it this way, okay? So for so long, you've scheduled and prioritized everything around your children. And now you have the space to rediscover who you are outside of the role as a parent. You know, what hobbies have you got? What passions did you have? What have you put on hold so that you could bring up your family? You know, what were they? Do a brainstorm, write it all down, and come up with some things that you would love to do. You know, maybe you used to love to do painting or writing or gardening or traveling. You know, all these things now is the time for you to revisit them and look at those interests or explore new ones. It's entirely up to you. You can do whatever you want to do with this time that you've now got. You know, this stage is all about redefining your routine and finding joy in new experiences. You might feel like you're getting to know yourself all over again, which is lovely. And that can be both exciting and a little daunting, because you've been the role of a mum for so long that it can be a little bit scary to then step into a different pair of shoes. So perhaps you'll take up a new hobby. You might join a class, you might start a fitness routine, you might even pursue a career or volunteer work. The possibilities are endless, and this exploration can lead to a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. Just explore, just, you know, brain dump stuff that you've wanted to do for years and never done it because you've always had everything wrapped around your children, you know. It's amazing what you find when you start digging. When we've done that stage, we then transition into renewal and independence. And by this stage, you've adjusted to the changes, you've started to embrace the freedom that you've got, and, you know, you're starting to look at the new phases of your life. And you tend to find a rhythm that works for you. And there's often a sense of renewal, like you've been given a fresh start. So for me, it was going back to what I wanted to do years and years ago, which I talk about quite often, and that's helping people, you know, and being a therapist and, you know, learning what I've got from my psychology to help people who are suffering with anxiety and mental health issues. And that is something I was really passionate about. Never actually did it. I did dabbled bits on and off, but never actually did it full time until Danielle had left. This stage is marked by a newfound independence. So your role as a parent evolves from being the day-to-day caregiver to, a more supportive guide, if you like. The relationship with your children also changes, but it also grows in new ways. So, you can find that you might become a bit closer. You might become more friends as opposed to it being a parent and a child. That, there's all sorts of ways that it can evolve. You might find that the bond with your children gets a lot deeper and it is a lot stronger because you're not in their life constantly. They find that they want to talk to you more about stuff, and they want to share things with you. They'll ring you up because they need a chat, whatever it may be. So, it's a totally different thing when they become an adult, and the conversations that happen then. And the other thing is as well, there's less of a daily management. So, because you're not just there as a mom, you can have a lot more deep, meaningful conversations with your children, and you can share different experiences with them because now they've stepped out into the big wide world and they're doing things for themselves. They'll find things different. So that can also be really nice too. This is also the stage where you realise that it's okay to focus on yourself without feeling guilty, because quite often when we've got children at home, we feel guilty doing anything for ourselves. And, you'll think, oh, I'd love to do that, but I won't, just in case I need to nip my child somewhere or do something for them or whatever it may be. And, you suddenly release this guilt and stop feeling like, you're the one that has to hold everything together. You've spent years prioritising your children, and now it's time for you to prioritise your own well-being and your happiness. Maybe you'll start travelling. Maybe you'll look at a new career. You might even deepen your social connections, or simply just enjoy some well-deserved relaxation. Whatever it looks like for you, this stage is about fully embracing the opportunities that come with this new chapter in your life. Don't be a shrinking violet. Stand up tall, back straight, make this work for you. Make this your time to shine. So as you can see, the empty nest journey is unique, for every parent. You'll all go through it, through these stages, but you'll all have them differently. And it can be filled with ups and downs, but it's also an opportunity for growth, renewal and self-discovery. It's okay to feel a range of emotions throughout this process, so don't be, I can't feel like that, or I shouldn't feel like this, or if someone's saying, oh, what's up with you? They've gone on to do whatever. Don't let that bother you. You deal with it in your own way. And, if it is becoming too much, then you can always message me and I'll see if I can help to guide you through it. So acknowledge the feelings that come up for you and embrace each stage. You can find joy and fulfillment in this new chapter of your life. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope this episode has given you some insight and perhaps even a little bit of comfort if you're navigating the empty nest journey. And remember, you're not alone in this experience. If you enjoyed this episode, then please share it with others who might benefit from hearing it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. So until next time, take care and embrace the journey ahead. I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.